Hello there. Welcome to this code flow tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about HTML5 semantics. And as usual, once we're actually done with the HTML tutorial, move to CSS. But in the middle of the CSS, we might have a surprise. I think the Python tutorial is coming up along with the CSS. The code flow is a YouTube channel and so on, so we have to make sure that we have widespread episodes for everyone all the time, because not everybody's involved in web design. Some people want to be involved in data science or hacking or any other programming languages out there. So definitely I want to make provisions for all the rest of the other programmings. So without wasting our time, let's just go to HTML5 semantics. So first of all, one thing we need to know about semantic elements is that semantic elements is simply elements that have a typical meaning. If you notice that HTML actually has a bit of meaningful elements. I mean, you can know how we use the P for the paragraph, we use the A for the link, we use the KBD for the keyboard text, we use var for declaring variable. It's kind of quite a bit of abbreviation, but still okay. But with the recent HTML5, we actually have a bit of some new words that have been added to it, like semantics that can actually help us to talk with the web like the way an human being will actually talk. And what we use the semantic elements for is to define sections of a particular web page. But the semantic element clearly develop. So definitely, I'm saying semantic elements are kind of a very great way to define sections of a web page. And since it makes sense to you, it also makes sense to the computer. I've told you example of non-semantic elements are the span, the div, all those ones that don't make sense, that cannot actually get their meaning actually. But example of semantic elements, we actually have a bit of label, form. Form is a semantic element. You can know the meaning of label, tables, form, title. Sorry, not title. Title is an attribute. But seriously, those are semantic elements. Okay, we also have article, but most of the main semantic elements actually that we actually use, we have the articles, we have the aside, details, fake caption, figure, footer, header, main, mark, nav, section, summary, time. Those are most of the semantic elements. But sometimes if we want to actually make this to be much more good in terms of tutorials, we're going to be dividing the semantics into just three basic parts each. Okay, we're going to talk about how we can separate most of the document parts with each of the semantics. But where everything actually gets crazy is the fact that we might actually be making use of HTML styles. We have no choice, because when we actually write the semantics, we can't view them very well on our web page if we don't style them a bit. So this tutorial might get a bit cranky. So right now, let's open our Visual Studio Code, and if we scroll down a bit, we can write a comment, a simple comment, making an HTML5 semantic. Making an HTML5 semantics. Quite amazing. We're making an HTML5 semantics. Then the next thing we can actually do is start with the first semantic. So what's the first semantic we have on our list? We have the header semantic, and basically what the header semantic does is that it actually defines the headings of a page or even a blog article. So we can decide to use this even to define the headings of a blog article or probably something like that. So let me give you a typical header. So we might actually want to use it for maybe a bit of logo icon or maybe the author's information, but just know that there's sometimes that you can't actually place the header within a footer or an address, okay, or even another header element. So we have to be very careful when we are talking about the header. Now, a very good way of placing the header is, let's just write maybe a simple article. So write header and close this up. Now okay, I am writing a simple blog post about the Ebola virus. Okay, quite amazing. That's my simple header. And although if we go to our Chrome and preview this, it's gonna just be the same boring word. I'm writing a simple blog post about the Ebola virus. Quite boring. But actually, I'm going to actually have to open a bit of a document so that we can make this tutorial very fast. So I have this new typing to September typing, in which we typed a lot of blog articles, and so I think it can be very suitable for what we want to do next. So the next one we have is the nav. Now the nav is actually it contains most, or let me say 80% of all the links you are going to be using for the web page. So you know what to put in the nav. You're just going to add a bit of a link. So let's not forget to close the A tag, and in the middle I can write home. Now when writing there, we have to use the href, and for the href, since we don't want to link any file, just put the slash symbol. Since we don't want to link any file, we've got our blog post open right here, so you can put the slash symbol, and you can just copy this. It's very easy for us to copy this, and we can paste this right here, and paste this right here, and paste it right here. So we've got like some links right here. We can call this home, and we got services, and we got about, and we got maybe product. I don't know what to write. Product. Let's save that, and if you actually go back to our Chrome and preview this, we're just actually going to see it like this: home, services, about, and product. Now we actually have another one called section, and basically what the section actually does is just to develop like maybe section or just to group some elements, but it actually has almost you have maybe an heading, and you can use section element for maybe an introduction, news items, or maybe a contact information, just like how a web page would normally be splitted. So right now for the section, let's create a section, and for the section I might want to actually write some few informations in the section. So I want to write an heading. So right there we have the top trending technology. So I want to copy this intro, and I'm going to come to the H1 and write top trending technology, and I'm going to use the P tag. I'm going to save this, and yeah, so basically that's just top trending technology. And once I go to Chrome and I preview this, it's still the same boring thing, but you can see that it actually has like this form of article kind of view, top trending technology, and you've seen this. If you ask me why the H1 is like this, remember that we styled the H1 one time like that, so every H1 gets to look like that. So basically this is how we've developed a bit of a section from maybe like article kind of content. Now the next one right here in my semantic list is known as aside. Aside is very good. I mean, basically if you want to actually cast something aside, I mean this is basically what you're actually going to do, to cast something aside, and it places a content like maybe like a form of sidebar. Let me say like a sidebar. So to make use of the aside, let's create the word aside, and in the aside we're going to create a bit of a simple heading H1. Now I've written those top training technology. I'm going to written starting programming, so I'm going to copy this, okay, and I'm going to write starting programming, okay, and I'm going to use the P tag, and I'm going to paste this right here and save this. So once I save this and I go back to my Chrome and reload this, we can actually see that this is right here, but it should have been casted aside, but because of the fact that we have not styled this yet, we can't see much of the effect of the aside. Now another one that we actually have, another HTML5 semantics that we also have, is known as article. Okay, and basically what the article does is just to type in just a big chunk of article. Okay, article is very, very simple. I mean, if you type in something for a blog post, you're going to make much more use of the article to type in maybe a very big blog post, but you have to make use of a bit of an header, to make it to make sense. So I'm going to type in those blog posts, what matters in life, and I'm going to paste this right in the middle of the article. But actually, we can't just actually paste this like that. We have to paste this within, within the p tag. So add the p tag and place it right in the p tag. Now, before adding the p tag, we need an heading for this. So I'm going to write h1, and I'm going to write is it planning your life? Jeez. Okay. What matters in life? What matters in life? And let's just save this. So we have a bit of an h1 and the p tag. So once we save this and we go to our Chrome and we preview this, we can see what matters in life. But we can't actually separate this yet. That's just the truth. Now for the footer, you might be wondering, what does the footer actually does? The footer is just lies mainly down, below. That's just one thing that the footer does. It's always below everything, below the document, below everything. And you can't always place most of it. You can't actually place most of the stuff. You can't place an header in the footer. There's some things that you just have to know. And the footer most of the time consists of a sitemap, the contact information, a copyright information, and authorship information. So right now, so how do we actually define that part? So for the footer, we use the keyword footer. Okay, so about the footer, type in footer, and when you type in the footer, we can type in what we want, like just write a p tag, and we can write the author name. We want to write a name for the author name. The author name, we can write parochial group. Sorry, that's the author name. And we can also add another p tag, just for simplicity. Add another p tag. And we might want to add maybe an email that you can send something to, just in case. So we can say, how we do it. We have the href and href. Sorry, a minute. Let me type this like normal says, just to make this fast. Href, and we can write mail to. Once a mail to, then we can write Ola Farai Victor 279 at gmail.com. I'm not expecting any spam email, please. So let me actually just write this, and we can actually write the email right here. Okay, Ola Farai Victor 279 at gmail.com. Wow, this is very amazing, very amazing. So let's just save this, and we can go to our Chrome and reload this, and we get this bit of a footer right here. Okay, get this footer kind of text, which is good, very good. So basically that's just all about that part. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. Please try to cut this and paste it right in the middle of this sorry. So let's go back to our Chrome and preview this. This is why I didn't turn to a link earlier. So right now you can see it's going to turn us to mail to 15279 at gmail.com. So when you click on it, I don't want to click on it anyway, but you can click on it if you want to. So that's all about that part of footer. So basically we've covered all the concepts of the HTML5 semantics. Okay, right now let's try and style them a bit to give them the color that we want. So we start from this part. So for the header, we can give the header a style. For the style, I want to set the background color to aqua. Quite amazing. Now for the section style, I want to set the section style. I want to set the background color to brown. Now for the to set the nav style, I want to set the background color to black. That's amazing. I want for the aside, I want to set the style of the aside. I want to set the background color to blue. For the article, I want to set the article style. I want to set background color. Sorry, that's a mistake. I want to set the Okay, style. I want to set the background color. I want to set it to aquamarine. And the footer right here, I want to set the footer. I want to set the footer color, the style. I want to set the background color. I want to set it to a bit of blue violet and save this. And by the time we go back to our Chrome and preview this, we discover that we have actually styled this one by one. We've styled this one by one. As you can see, this is quite amazing. So basically, we've just managed to tell you that these are sections of the page, and you should know what you can actually add. And the sections, as I've mentioned earlier, so this is the footer, this is the header, the nav element. If you picture this could actually be a blog page. Just that the aside which right there should be here, but that's if we actually want it to be aside. Okay, for it to be aside, we actually have to use the keyword. We can actually decide to float it to the left or to the right. Okay, I think we should make use of a bit of CSS style to float it. Let's just float it a bit. Yeah, let's try and add a bit of it. So the CSS file, let's start add float. Sorry, right here, let's add float, and we can write I want to float it to the right. And once I save this, it might look a bit wonky because I've not added the other things to it. But anyway, let's see. It's really gonna work. It's not really gonna do much because I've not actually added the rest of the things we are actually meant to add to it. It should have a weight. Or if we decide to add it, let's decide to add. We can decide to, to add a width to it. A width and write 30 pixels, and we can also add the margin. Margin left. We can add 20 pixels and save this. But totally, if we go to our Chrome and preview this, we can see that this has been floated to the right, but it's not really gonna do much. As you can see, it's kind of a bit wonky because we've not added the necessary width and height to it. So basically, that's just all about the HTML5 semantics. I think we also have a last one to talk about. We have the last HTML5 semantic talk about. We have one known as the figure or the fig caption, and we use much of the figure elements to and the fig caption to define something for a photograph, something like that. So we make use of the word figure, and you can close the figure tag, and you can actually, for the figure, we are going to be adding an image. To make your figure, you add an image SRC, and I'll put a slash, and we can actually go to our put a slash back again, user desktop, then website. We have those website projects, we have our images here, and you can make use of those architecture. That's quite impressive. This, and let's close the ing tag, and we can actually write the fig caption. The fig caption tells us more about what is actually there, what is there. We can actually just create an image with the p tag or with the h1 tag, but that would be stressful. But with the fig caption, we can just capture it all together. We can write fig 1. That's pretty simple. Human architecture. Sorry, I don't really know how to spell architecture. Let's save this and let's go to our Chrome and preview this, and we can see right here. Oh, sorry, a minute. Yeah, we can see the image and we can see fig 1, human architecture. I believe we should set a width and height for this. The width, we can set the width to. Sorry. Put this back here. Width, we can set the width to maybe 200 pixels, and we can set the height to 300 pixels. We can decide to style this actually, but style it in terms of height and width, but let's just do the simple one because of our time. So let's see, we load this, and we have, we have it right here. I think I should remove this thing from the float so it prevents us from having any future errors. So let's delete this and let's save this, and by the time we go back to our Chrome and preview this, we should have a normal document. So this is it. So this is where we have our standpoint for now. In the next HTML tutorial, we're going to talk about HTML scripts. So I'll see you in the next tutorial.